You're watching Rogers TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's debate. Rogers TV is very pleased to welcome you to our debate for the riding of Orléans as we prepare for Canada's 45th federal election, which is slated for Monday, April 28th. All candidates were invited to participate in today's debate. Before I introduce you to the two that accepted our invitation and are joining us today in studio, please allow me to quickly go over the rules for today's debate. So we'll begin with a 60-second opening statement from each of the candidates, the order of which was drawn at random just a few minutes ago. From there, I will ask various questions touching on many topics, both local, national, and in some cases international repercussions. The candidate to whom the question is directed will have 45 seconds to respond. Following their response, the floor is open. Both candidates will have an opportunity to discuss and debate the question. At the end of that debating period, the person asked the question originally will get a final 30 seconds to wrap things up. I will then move on to the next question, which will be posed to the second candidate, and we'll alternate back and forth. At the end of the period of questions, each candidate will have approximately 60 seconds for a closing statement. So, without further ado, let's welcome our candidates joining us in the studio from the riding of Orléans. First of all, let me welcome from the Liberal Party of Canada, Marie-France Lalonde, and from the New Democratic Party, Mr. Oulai Goué.
Hello.
Welcome to you both. Thank you for being here today. We'll begin with an opening statement from Marie-France Lalonde. You have 1 minute. Madame Lalonde.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marie-France Lalonde, and I'm running for re-election as your Liberal candidate in Orléans. I've lived here since 1999. I've opened a business here, and I've been elected to represent our riding federally since 2019. We've opened a federal co-working spaces, a Service Canada office, delivering passport at Place Orléans, things that actually our community have requested for a long time. We've invested in public transit, and I'm proud to say that we are the first Ottawa suburb to receive an LRT extension with 4 stops in Orléans. As our community grows, we need to continue to invest in people. This means reducing childcare costs, providing dental care for seniors and young adults, increasing the old age security pension for seniors, making it easier to get your first home, and investing in our Canadian Armed Forces. These are interesting times, and we can't take anything for granted. I'm running to keep Canada strong.
Thank you. Now I invite Oulai Goué to please provide your opening address.
Thank you to Rogers for hosting this debate, and thank you to Ms. Lalonde for agreeing to having this debate. My name is Oulai Goué, and I am the New Democrat candidate in Orléans. And my Canadian story is similar to that of many of you watching. As a first-generation immigrant, I came to this country to seek the good life. And today, Orleanians are telling us that they're very angry. Angry for reasonable reasons. Rent, grocery, mortgage, gas, and you name it. We are angry because politics hasn't changed much since 10 years, since 20 years, and I'm running because I believe I can bring about the change that we need. We have the solutions. We as NDP with Singh, we have implemented dental care. We have helped farmer care to start being delivered. And in this context where the country is attacked, we need somebody to hold the line in Orleans. I am willing to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Goué. And just like that, we are now at the question period. So we've come to the debate portion of today's session, and I will address the first question to Ms. Lalonde. You've been campaigning for a few weeks now already, meeting voters in Orleans, perhaps even going door to door to meet with the local electorate. What are voters telling you? What's their main priority? And if you and your party are elected, how are you going to address that key issue for the local voters?
Thank you very much. There's not one single door that doesn't speak about the President Trump and the tariff that he has imposed on our economy. I would say also certainly the record of Mr. Carney is highly regarded in our community. I hear this at the door. He helped us mitigate one of the largest economic crises in 2008, 2009. So that's something I'm hearing at your door. I'm also hearing about the hesitation of traveling to the U.S. Many of you have shared those things with me. And let's not forget one thing very important that I take to heart, the cost of living. And this is why a renewed and returned Liberal government will help you mitigate those.
Thank you. Both candidates, you are now invited to discuss and further debate on this question. This is a key issue that you're hearing from voters in Orleans.
So I'm very interested in meeting the people that Ms. Lalonde is meeting in Orleans, the one who are satisfied with the situation we have here in this country, in Orleans, because this is not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing people that are dissatisfied. I'm hearing people that are very concerned, anxious about 33,000 jobs lost in March, about 500,000 jobs that are going to be lost if we keep going like this, according to the Brookings Institution in the state, and according to Mr. Trevor Tom, professor at the University of Calgary, he's speaking of about 400,000. So 400,000 jobs lost. So we are in a situation of crisis. We can't act as if nothing is happening. When you are in a situation of crisis, you need change. You cannot keep going with the same people that go to the House of Commons and just focus on their own career. We need change, and I want to be the change that we need in Orleans.
So with all due respect, what I'll do for you in Orleans, I will protect the public servant job because, let's face it, we lived through the dramatic cuts that a conservative government brought to our riding, and certainly that's something very important. Our proposed platform also is speaking to you, middle-class earners. We will cut the middle-class tax cut. We will also help eliminating the GST on the first home property. But let's face it, the world has changed. The world has changed since President Trump became the president of our southern border. We thought they were our friends and our allies, and right now we are realizing that we absolutely need to become that one economy. And this is what we are proposing, to make sure that Canada's, as a G7, can go even further.
Let me interrupt you, but the final 30 seconds is yours, Ms. Lalonde.
Thank you very much. Listen, the world has changed since 2021. A global pandemic, we had the Russia's war in Ukraine, and as I mentioned, President Trump at the border. This election is about who can stand up to Donald Trump, to President Trump. And it's also about building a stronger economy for Orléans and for Canada. And this is what I'm proposing to represent your voice.
Thank you. Our second question is for Mr. Goué to begin. Many Canadians are having difficulty with rising prices on almost everything, including everyday expenses. We're hearing of an affordability crisis. How will you and your party help Canadians cope with rising costs? Mr. Goué, you have 45 seconds, please.
Yes, this is the situation I was describing earlier. We have Canadians, Orleanians, that are going through hardships. We have the young workers, we have our students coming out of schools who are very anxious about the future. So how do we, as a country, elect a government that can take care of their concerns? This is why the New Democrat Party is thinking about having a GST removed from essential goods, for example. We think we need that particular action so we can help them save $500 per household.
Okay, we're opening it up to the floor.
Yeah.
So I'm happy actually that my colleagues referring to the affordability, and thank you for the questions, because indeed it is something that we are hearing above and beyond. And I'm proud to say actually, and speak on our records, because the candidate for the MPD is making reference that I've done nothing. And I'm going to share with you, since 2019, what I've worked very hard to deliver for Orleans. A national school food program, a $10 a day childcare, and I have to say we are in the midst of this. That will be transformative for many, many families in Orléans, and I heard it firsthand actually from a young couple a few days ago. Let's not forget our tax-free Canada Child benefits. All these services are at risk if the Conservative were to form government. That's why it's so important that we continue to grow our economy, continue to protect the gains that we made. But we need a shift. We need to change our ways of thinking because we need to look at that one economy. We're not 13 provinces, we're one Canada. And this is what Mark Carney and a Liberal government will offer, not only to Orléans, but to all of Canada.
I agree. We need to change. We need to change the way we're thinking, and you cannot elect the same people and expect them to change. That's why you need to change the people that would change the way of thinking. This is why we believe that we need to stop catering to the billionaires, which is what the Liberals have been doing for 10 years. Like when you look at the tax breaks, like about $30 billion to the oil and gas companies. When for the farmer care to be able to reach all Canadians, it's about the same amount you need. So it's a matter of decision that you make. It's a matter of who gets your priority when it comes to the decision. You decide, to the Liberals, to go with the people that already have the money as opposed to the average Canadian.
I'm going to ask you, when you need a surgery, you go see a surgeon. When you have an economic crisis, you go see an economist. And this is what Mark Carney will be bringing, is to help us mitigate south of the border.
Mr. Goué, you have 30 seconds to wrap this one up.
So I guess the Liberals were wrong when they went with Justin Trudeau. He's no economist. So my point is, this is no argument. You need somebody who has the ethics, who has the will, who cares about the people. It's not about having a degree in economics. You can have a PhD in economics and not care about the people. And this is what's happening with the Liberals. They don't care. They just care about the people that already have money. And I am here to tell you, people in Orleans, that if you vote for me, you can count on me. Because I'm going to deliver everything I'm offering, which is to make sure that the GST is removed, to make sure that rent is controlled, and to make sure that the people have affordable housing in our riding.
Thank you, Mr. Goué. Let's zero in a little bit further on this point. Housing, especially affordable housing, is top of mind for many Canadians, and it's no exception here in the National Capital Region and in your riding of Orleans. How will you and your party help Canadians better afford homes for themselves and their families? The question is to Ms. Lalonde. You have 45 seconds.
Almost 45 seconds, not long enough, because that's an important question. There's been several measures based on our national housing strategy that have helped people, but we still know that we need to do more. So the first thing we did in the decision-making is that we brought in, with a partnership with the City of Ottawa, in helping them build more homes, $176 million for affordable housing. What we can see is that the federal government needs to go back to this housing building, and that's what we're proposing, actually. I was very happy to see that we will be building more homes than Canadians that they can afford, with Canada's most ambitious housing plan since the Second World War, and this is what we will be delivering for all of you.
The debate portion
again,
is open.
Promise, promise, promise. Promise again, over and again. So you've been there for 10 years. You haven't done all this. And then all of a sudden, because you have a snap election, you're coming back to the lecture to say this is what we're going to do.
I have to interrupt you, Mr.
I'm sorry, I'm not finished, ma'am.
Election, your leader made it very clear in the House of Commons that irregardless of what would happen, he wouldn't vote for the confidence of the minority government. So let's just say that this is not a snap election. This is because the opposition, actually, your leader, decided not to continue to help Canadians like we were doing in the past few years.
So what you're saying is you couldn't accomplish anything because your hands were tied, basically.
Actually,
this is
we
very
were
unfortunate.
accomplishing things.
So I was saying that what we need today in terms of housing is first to notice that under the Liberals, rent and homes have doubled. Under the Liberals. Nobody else. They did nothing. And then today, because we have an election, now they're looking for scapegoats people to accuse of they do nothing kind of policy thing. So we want to make sure that we have social housing. In Ottawa, for example, the private housing is about 90%. We want to increase the social housing so that, look, the students who are coming out of school, who are starting their job, they have somewhere to go. And the young parents who can afford houses. So one of the policy we want is to support first-time buyers, right? So to make sure that we have a program that helps them for the mortgage that they will deposit to have access to house. So I don't understand how the Liberals believe that Orleanians are going to trust them today. I don't understand.
Actually, what Orleans needs to realize, and the City of Ottawa, is that we created a partnership before this election with the City of Ottawa to build affordable housing. And let me tell you, these are real dollars going to every single community, from Ottawa, Vanier, Gloucester, to Nepean, to Orleans, everywhere in Ottawa. They benefit from that investment, and we will continue, but we need to do more.
Madame Lalonde, you have 20 seconds to wrap it up, please.
Thank you very much. Listen, you know, it's easy to say that nothing has been done, and I'm sad to hear this because there's been some good delivery for Orléans. You have seen, if you live in Orleans, how many households have been built. We need to build more affordable of them. And what we're proposing is certainly doubling the pace of construction of almost 500,000 new homes a year. We're also going to be eliminating the GST for first-time home buyers on home of under $1 million. And this will save families $50,000.
Thank you. Okay. We've talked about it a little bit, but we're going to go back there. The imposition of American tariffs is already having an impact on jobs in Canada. So I want to zoom in on the National Capital Region and the riding of Orleans. What should we expect in the public sector if your party wins an election? What adjustments is your party proposing to the public sector, if any? And the question goes to Mr. Goué to start.
To the public sector, we will continue what we have started, which is to take a stance for public workers. I think we need to look at the quality of life. When I remember every time I go talk to the people in Orleans, what I notice is they say, we don't understand how the current government doesn't allow us to have the possibility to work from home. And we believe, the NDP, that this is a clear solution for a 21st century kind of public government. We need to make sure that people are able to reach a certain quality of life, whether it's 3 days a week from home or depending on the sector of the public government. But we think that we need to push toward that quality of life that's needed, given the context of the Trump tariffs.
Let's open it up.
Yeah, so we absolutely will protect our public servant. The NCR is a key employer of and certainly I represent you. I was representing you, and I'm seeking your support again. As I mentioned, and I don't think, I hope you had a chance to visit, there is this wonderful space at Place d'Orleans, 105 spaces as a pilot, the most productive workplace in Canada. That space, I'm committing with you that not only it will continue to be, but we need to expand because it is so productive, because our public servants are using that space. I've always been a strong believer that our community is better with you living in it. We've seen numerous businesses in the past year actually thriving because our public servants are in the area, but also because businesses are choosing Orleans to invest. So we need to continue that investment in our public servant and in our private sector to make sure that our community grow.
I believe we have the same old promises. We have the same, we do this, we do that. We want the best for the public servant, but at the same time, you don't want a public servant to reach the request or to fulfill the request that they are presented to you. So it's a matter of credibility. It's a matter of trust. Mm-hmm. Do we think that the Liberals are the people that will take a stance for the workers? I think we have plenty of data for it. No.
Actually, I would disagree. I stood up very clearly for my public servant. Our entire NCR did. We knew that we needed to protect those jobs. They need to stay here in our national capital region. But we also need to give you a choice. And that's what I'm proposing by not only keeping our pilot project, making it permanent, and enhancing those spaces so you can work from that area.
The final 30 seconds to you,
Yes,
Mr. Goué.
I think what I hear from the public servants in Orleans, one key element besides the affordability, it's within the context of the work is that the Liberals would deny the possibility for them to work from home. They've been doing that for a long time, and I can tell you that the NDP's position is to make sure that the public servants have the possibility to work from home depending on the kind of job they are implementing or doing. So this is our position, and we believe that we need a government that have the best interests of public servants.
Thank you. All right. The question now goes to Ms. Lalonde. Recently, Ottawa's Mayor Mark Sutcliffe asked the federal government to step in with more funding for the capital's public transit system. What is your and the Liberal Party's funding plan for Ottawa's LRT and transit system? You have 45 seconds.
Well, thank you very much for the question, actually, because it gives me the chance, actually, to validate the work that's been done under the Liberal government. We have heard very clearly from Mayor Sutcliffe, and there was key elements that we have delivered for him already, and we're committing on a long-term predictability funding for public transit. We're looking at over $180 million for the next 10 years. So a little bit over $18 million a year that our city will benefit. Let's not forget that in Orleans, from Place d'Orleans to Trim Road, 50% federal Liberal funding, and in the past provincial Liberal. So 100% Liberal government funded the Place d'Orleans to Trim Road for our LRT.
Let's
We're
open
going
it
to
up for
continue
debate
to
now.
deliver for our city.
Yeah, so Canada's public transit system is facing funding crisis, which means that fares go up while the service gets worse. Under the Liberals, almost $15 billion of climate funding has been unspent or delayed since 2016. The biggest shortfall is for public transit and green infrastructure projects. The Liberals, what they do, they love talking about investing in transit, but they didn't take action they promised. So we'll make funding for public transit permanent through the Canada Public Transit Fund available right away to support municipalities to move forward on the transit project. The NDP will modernize and expand public transit in communities across Canada, including Orleans, of course, with the goal of electrifying transit by 2030 to cut emissions. So we are tying public transit, of course, to environmental goals.
Well, I appreciate our candidate here, but we have actually set the investment forward. So let's not forget, we've been working very closely with Mayor Sutcliffe with the challenges of our city. At the same time, we realize and we believe as a government that we need to invest in the environment, in public transit, and I would say also in cycling infrastructure. That's my cue for Orleans. Don't worry, I don't forget you, my cyclists. I'm always going to be that voice for all of you. Important that we reach agreement with our City of Ottawa. That's what we've done. Clear, tangible dollars going to the City of Ottawa. Unlike Pierre Poilievre, that has never committed on continuing to support that investment in our city. And this is something that I hope Orléans realize. We will continue to invest in our local infrastructure, working with our city, working on cycling and public transit.
So again, the problem is we don't live in the same universe. Like, for example, a few weeks ago, I was in a residential home, and then this lady tells me, Mr. Goué, we have an issue with public transit. I have to wait for a long time. Yeah. So long wait.
So talk to the city councillor.
We're not,
you know what? There's jurisdiction component.
Excuse me. We're not talking about the same
Let's
thing.
finish the point. Yeah. The rebuttal is to Ms. Lalonde.
You know what? I believe that we have to work with our partners. We have excellent local representation in Orléans, 3 city councillors, 1 member of provincial parliament. The federal government have made it a clear clear commitment in helping our city because we believe in public transit. We are the government that believes in climate change and the environment, and that's why we're going to support and continue to support our user. Orleans have and continue to have the highest ridership, and we will be there in supporting.
Thank you. Our final question already, if you can believe it. You'll each have 1 minute. This is kind of the rapid fire round.
Okay.
The Canadian Medical Association estimates that 6.5 million Canadians are without a family doctor at this time. How will you and your party address this critical shortage? The question is to you, Mr. Goué, and then Ms. Lalonde will also have a minute.
Yes, thank you very much for your question. It's about healthcare, like unemployment, like transportation, like so many things. Canada is in crisis. So like you said yourself, 6.5 million Canadians don't have a doctor. 6.5 million doctors. Canada will be short nearly 20,000 doctors by 2031. And currently, we need 43,000 nurses. In the meantime, what do we have? Promises from the Liberals. They have claimed to be a healthcare champion for now 10 years. And when it comes to the Conservatives, they've cut $43.5 billion for healthcare when Mr. Poilievre was in the government. So it's very difficult to believe whether the Liberals or the Conservatives. What we're going to do is we improve the working conditions for healthcare professionals, which means to improve inpatient outcomes and reduce burnout among doctors and nurses.
That's time. Ms. Lalonde.
And thank you for the question, because this is something else that we've heard at the door, and we know before President Trump's, this was probably the most sensitive issue that people were sharing with me. I've worked for several years in our healthcare. I worked in a hospital. I worked in the retirement home business. And certainly not having that access to that family doctor is so important. We are working with our province of Ontario, in the delivery. People tell me, well, you know, you can do everything, Madame Lalonde. Well, what we can do is put barriers or outcome-driven on the funding. So what it means is that as we transfer the payments to this province, we will make sure that the pay of our PSW and our nurse and our healthcare workers is right. We're going to make sure mental health, access to family doctor, and that's our commitment, $200 billion more over the next 10 years for the province of Ontario for the delivery of healthcare.
Thank you, Ms. Lalonde. And just like that, we've wrapped up. That's the end of today's debate. It's now time for the candidates to provide their final words, and we'll proceed in the reverse order that we started. Mr. Goué, we'll start with you. You have a minute.
Thank you very much, Rogers, for hosting again this debate. Thank you, Ms. Lalonde, for this very important moment for democracy. It's very unfortunate the Conservatives didn't attend this debate because it's of the clash of ideas that we can improve our lives in Canada. So I respect everyone that has built this Orleans community. I want to tell the people of Orleans that for a long time, politicians have acted entitled to their vote. And I'm here to say, my dear Orleanians, that no tradition, no politician, no political party, nobody owns our vote. Over the past 10 years, the Liberals have shown that they didn't care about the working class or the middle class. They instead favored big corporations. The decade before, the Conservatives have shown some lack of interest for you average Canadians. After 20 years of either the Conservatives or Liberals, our country needs change. Please reach out so we can change this writing, so we can change this country.
Thank you. Ms. Lalonde.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you to Rogers. For the past 25 years, I've lived here, I've worked in and represented the community of Orléans. My focus is the same as it was when I entered politics, to help the people and businesses thrive. I will work to protect public service jobs. I will work to expand the federal co-working space and work with the City of Ottawa to add a pedestrian bridge at the Trim Road LRT station. And we will keep Canada strong, secure, and sovereign by reducing interprovincial trade barriers, diversifying our international trade partners, and rearming and rebuilding our Canadian armed forces. I understand the needs of my community, and I have a proven track record of delivering for them. My name is Marie-France Lalonde. I am running for re-election, and I'm asking for your vote. Merci. Thank you.
Thank you both for participating in today's debate, and thank you to our crew of volunteers and focus students. Their dedication and technical savvy really helps us produce these